Hi everybody, welcome back to another Ascension reading. For this message, we're going to be taking a look at the month of February 2024. Yay! We made it! If you have not had a chance to check out the January 2024 reading as yet, please make sure that you do at some point. And as with all of the monthly readings, remember it's all about energy, so it would really be wonderful to consult it again throughout the month, because as you progress through the month, then these energies that we're talking about early on in the month will have become more material, will have been called more into manifestation. Okay? The month of January was all about remembering that healing just takes a little bit of willingness. Now, when we talk about willingness, I mean a little bit, because we're not expected to from this level of experience, this level of creation, where we have all of these blockages, these misperceptions going on in our mind, and where we're literally needing to clear up those misperceptions, and that's what the healing is. We're not expected to come to the table with everything all intact and have a full-out plan and to be fully committed or anything like that. That's why in the month of January, the message was so strong that all it takes is a little bit of willingness. And that could be as simple as, all right, I give up, show me what you got. And that's it. And watch how the universe will work in your favor, okay? Now, moving on, if you haven't had a chance to check out the short form Ascension readings, those are channeled messages that I've been putting out, and I'll continue to put those out as they come in for you, and those are directly for those of you who would identify yourselves as ascension minded, Lightworker, Starseeds, etc., all of that. And you need not actually have any idea of a title or anything. If the message graces your path, then that means that you have from somewhere within you a vibrational match to whatever messages are coming through. And I would invite you to avoid any discourse. It's unnecessary, and just come in and connect to the messages. All right? So that being said, if you'd like to work more closely with us, you know exactly where to find me. You can check the Etsy link. We do pretty much everything to support you service workers. And if you know, you know. All right, so let's jump into February energies. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to reorient you guys. So we're going to do a little bit of an energy healing message and recording. They're saying, message, recording. And so, as you know, with recordings and energies in general, they're always available. So you can watch at any time. You can watch over and over again. In fact, you can watch on mute. Don't worry, the energies are transmitting. Okay, so let's drop in. I've already called in our divine protections and our helpers and our boosters and all of that stuff. And when I say boosters, I mean energetically our guides and such who are here to help boost us up. But right now we're dropping into the sacral chakra. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and anchor you in so you can visualize with me or assist in your own way. So assist yourself in your own way. We're going to go ahead and anchor into the sacral chakra, which is located just a few inches below the belly button, right? So you can imagine a beautiful orange energy, orange visual frequencies swirling around in there. And what we're going to do is then we're going to see some of that beautiful orange energy cycle down through each leg. So you can see a stream of energy that looks nice and orange, bright and orange, they're saying. Ooh, I'm feeling that already. Wow. Cycling down all the way down, and it's going to go through your feet and into the earth. And it's interesting because as it's going down, I invite you to tune in to what's going on there, because I'm feeling some blockages in the legs there. So whenever we cycle energy down through any parts of our bodies, or we fill any parts of our bodies up with energy, you can easily do it through visualization or just setting the intention for it to be occurring. Be mindful about what happens afterward. You may perceive of blockages. Some of you may shiver. I felt some of you like tremble a little bit. That's just energy meeting other energy and kind of negotiating that process. We're just going to go ahead and push it down because there's a little bit of a blockage here, swimming around mid shin. So we're going to go ahead and push that energy down, and think of it like a little bit of functioning like a little bit of a Drano situation. It's unclogging the pipes, so to speak. And it's, oh, that's good. It was like, whoop, 4 minutes, 44 seconds. So now we have a clear channel going on. Now it's important when we say clear channel because even though I'm here channeling this transmission for you guys are also channeling as well. We're channeling energy all day. And so it's really important, in order to be a clear channel, that you attend to the flow directionally and, in terms of freedom of flow throughout your energy anatomy, throughout your body. All right, so that energy is flushing out now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some liquid light. I'll just leave it at that word. It's a concoction, God bless you, and it is pouring in through the top of your head, through the crown. It's, you can think of it like a silver light. It's pouring right in through the crown of your energy. I just went a little quiet for a second there because it like hit my throat chakra. Some of you may feel it. Some of you are stepping into greater clairaudience. You may know who you are already, but I definitely felt it coming out and stopping through the ears a little bit to kind of swizzle around there. So if you have any fears around your clairs, your clairaudience, clairsentience, clairgustience, all of that stuff, please, this is the time to work through that. Remember, these fears are only programming that you have. It's your conscious mind meeting programming, subconscious programming. And so that's why it's important to do your shadow work. That's why it's important to connect with like-minded individuals who you see doing what you're doing already. Ask them questions. Also to connect with people like me, ding, who can assist you with that on the energetic level. I am a clear channel, so I'm able to articulate to you exactly what's going on in your body and help you to make that process, well, a fun one, right? No more fear. Let's shake off those past lifetime programmings as well. And some of you are coming heavily from off planet with your, it's almost like you came straight in. So some of you are, let's say, carrying a heavier load in terms of baggage than others. So if you remember, the message that we put out over the past few months is that for those of you who are going to be leading leaders, it is important for you right now to make sure that you get your emotional stuff intact. Do your energy healing, things like that, journaling, whatever it is, because we need you to be of like mind and body. When we say like mind and body, we're talking about, it's not about, just I looked down at 7 minutes, 7 seconds, 0707. It's not about choosing somebody out there in the world to become like-minded with. No, being like-minded means plugging into the highest perspective that is available to you, right? Doing your due diligence to make sure that you're plugging into as close of an ideology as you can to oneness, because that's what we're out here doing. Healing is just healing the perception, the core perception that underlies every issue. Every single issue, doesn't matter what it is, whether it's physical or non-physical, it will go back to a core original mistaken reasoning, and that original mistaken reasoning is the belief in separation from the divine. But always remember, there is no separation. There can never be separation, because you're literally embodying an idea in that sense that you are one within creation, but then you left creation somewhere, or and then you put a story to it. You were cast out, you were abandoned, you were exiled, you were whatever it is. Or maybe you were curious, and curiosity is what got you in trouble. Whatever that story is, that's the programming. And when we have programming, it is obstructive to the flow of truth / light / strength in our energetic vehicle, in our mind, everything. And of course, the physical body is just, it's literally just a carbon copy. So whatever is going on in a non-physical is going to carbon copy right into the physical and show up as physical maladies, as earth-born illnesses. They're saying, it's interesting the way they're saying it that way. They're saying that for somebody here, because somebody here has a mission that has to do with working, and I'm scraping your energies out right now in the the abdominal area. It's like an energetic tartar and whatever that's going on there. Whoever you are, you will know, and if you don't, that's okay. You already know on some level. You do a lot of work with maybe, I don't want to say the word because they monitor these videos, so the algorithm, blah blah blah, but let's just say, what words can we say? Well, we said illnesses, right? So airborne illnesses and things like that, and blah blah blah, and to which we may need to get medicine put into us, things like that. I'm just going to leave it at that way. But you are here to help assist with stuff like that. Let's say, we'll just give it a moniker, disease control, like things like that. But long story short, we just need to get that calcification out of your system. Either way, and your mission, by the way, is to work with the earthborn ones. And it's very interesting that they're calling it earthborn, and I'm going to leave it at that. But either way, coming back to all of us collectively, no matter what it is that you can identify and even talk about and have a conscious mind thought about it, please understand that the root cause of it is always going to be in the non-physical, and it's going to be traceable in the non-physical fields as well. And the core root of that, for which everything else is just a mask, is the existential, and I'm talking at the soul level, existential belief in separation. It never happened, and the Great Awakening is just the movement towards the recognition that it never happened. There's no need to actually restore anything or rejuvenate or anything like that. We have literally thought ourselves, by our core beliefs, misbeliefs, thought ourselves out of natural flow, organic flow, health and well-being, all of that. And that's why we see today craziness. That's why when we look at the way that people move on Earth and other planets where there's this disconnect from reality, which is that there was never separation, this disconnect registers from a higher perspective as insanity. And that's why when we have workers, volunteers, if you like, 11 minutes, 11 seconds, coming here from different star systems far away, things that haven't even been discovered yet here on this planet and mainstream, blah, blah, blah. And, our nearby neighbors, we have people incarnating, or we have beings, incarnating into a vessel that they can maneuver in the physical world. That's why we all look human. But if you have these origins, if you like to say, or this significant time in other star systems and whatnot, and you're here to work, that's why we refer to you as at 11 minutes 44 seconds as starseeds and things like that. If you know me, you already know that even though I'm using the language to have these discussions, labeling plays a role, as language does, to have discussions, but at the end of the day, we're stooping to a certain level in order to use this tool of language. And unfortunately, when the mind is so corrupt through programming and misprogramming and core misperceptions and all of that, you cannot really cling to the language. We just use it as a tool for discussion, right? And so it behooves you to remember, especially if you're going to be leading other people and leading leaders, it behooves you to remember that you have to hold the ideal as much as you can. You remember oneness, right? There is no illness, there is no separation, there is no war, we cannot conceive of that at this level and whatnot. I understand, because of the perceptions that we're clearing up. Those are literally barriers to having an awareness of this or believability in that. But you have to hold that as an ideal, as what we're moving back towards. Exercising, right? When we say all things are possible under God, that is true. All things are possible under God. You want to fly? Hey, maybe go ahead and do it. But you will never be able to fly here so long as you don't have a belief that, number one, it's probable, let alone possible. Possible, let alone probable. If you don't even think that's possible, then you'll never do it. Because the level of belief that is needed is at such a core deep level that you have to get through all of the melee that is on the way there. We see people who are definitely here on mission, souls, strong souls, very knowledgeable, wise souls, and putting themselves in positions where they end up becoming, getting diagnoses and prognoses or whatnot, that they'll never walk again, and boom, then they do it, right? These are people who on some level of the field, they're working with a greater faith, a greater belief, right? They're advanced in that ability, and so they come down here to teach us and to show us. And these are the people that we need to look at. These are the people who are defying the odds. Because if you're here to heal your perceptions, you cannot use the I don't want to say diseased mind, but yeah, you cannot use the mistaken mind is a better word to judge the reality or the viability or the possibility or the probability of what you witness. And unfortunately, because society is so ideologically inflexible, right? Mainstream good, subculture bad, one race good, other race bad, one gender good, all this stuff is so inflexible. Because of that, you can really only advance at a small pace. And that's why we need people from outside the system, beings from outside the system to come in here, many of whom are sleepers. They don't even remember. Some of them are on active duty, so to speak, and they don't need to remember. They're just doing their job. They're showing up. They're being of assistance to others, right? So please remember that it's a vast network. But that being said, what else would you guys like to talk about here? Sorry, I'm picking up on stuff in the feet area. They're working on planting some of you in the feet. Some of you are having trouble grounding in your arena. Arena meaning where you're stationed, where you spend most of your time, where you're actively doing your mission work, whether you're aware of it or not. You struggle to get grounded and to do your work there for many reasons, but one of the reasons that is coming through is geopathic stress. So those of you, we talked about this a few transmissions ago. We need those of you who are space clearers, who shamans, who work on the ley lines, things like that. Some of you know that you do this, some of you do not. We also need those of you who are able to move through time, I'm just gonna quote unquote, in order to do that, because let's say that you're working in this geographic space, for example, and you're clearing the grid there, you're clearing the energy there, but you may think, oh yeah, that's done, but if you don't have the ability or the awareness to think, oh hey, maybe I need to check in between the folds of time in this one space, then you will miss certain things, right? So we're fine-tooth combing this right now. So if that makes sense to you, you'll know what it means. But please, if that sounds interesting to you and you're just like, how did I stumble upon this video? Or even if you know what you do and you're like, dude, that sounds pretty fun, I'm pretty interested. All you need to do is, again, a little bit of willingness. You just say, hey, tell me about that. That's it. That's interesting. Did somebody say Time Lord? Tell me more. Right? So these are the things that you have to ask for. It wouldn't pop into your physical reality where you're actively looking at it and being in the vicinity of it amidst all the things you could be in the vicinity of if there were not a vibrational match within you. Then when you add interest to it, like, oh, that sounds interesting, 17 minutes, 17 seconds, this is a solid gold clue to you. Hey, this is something that A, you could be doing, B, you are already doing, and or C, you have done many times before. This is your wake-up call. There's a vibrational match. Are you interested, right? So just start being able to look for those signs. And just as I said that, I felt like a unlock around the heart chakra area, in deep within, like in the rib cage kind of thing, but by the heart. And I think that's a good thing because that cleared up a blockage, and the blockage was like, I can't do something like that. What is this? Is this even true? What is it supposed to look like? That would be the problem. You need to have the belief in the possibility of something. If you cannot have the belief in the possibility of something, then you are stuck where you are. It's ideological inflexibility, and you're stuck, and you will need to have somebody else come in and assist you, because for these motions and these movements, you have to remain ideologically flexible, right? Because thoughts are things. Thoughts are structures. When we see things like this glass, it's just a thought that is so strong that the molecules have organized themselves so strongly to take shape and take form according to what the collective believes, right? So therefore, when we see as a collective what I'm holding, it looks like a glass. Because on some collective level, and it's a deeply entrenched one, we have an idea that, number one, a glass is something. It's a thing and it exists. Number two, it's possible for it to exist right here. Number three, it's probable, highly likely, that it would exist right here. And it's also probable that it could look like a design that would surprise you, and we would explain that away in the physical world as, oh, this is a glass I've never seen before. This is Jonelle's glass, and this is, wow, I'm surprised at the design, right? It's just belief upon belief upon belief upon belief upon belief. So when I say that these are beliefs that structure your physical reality, that's what I'm saying, okay? And I really, really mean it. And when I tell you that the core misperception of at the root of everything is a false belief in separation. And it's so deeply embedded that we're out here having a belief that forgiveness is a thing. Forgiveness is not a real concept in God's mind. Now you may say, what do you mean? Think about it. If you hold the belief that God is benevolent, and some of you are out here with that fear, what is it, God-fearing, I'm a God-fearing, do you, but I'm just letting you know, don't do that. But if you have a belief that God is creation, or all that is, or whatever you want to say, get down to the unconditional space. The unconditional space is, oh, I'm here, 20 minutes, 20 seconds, so there was a desire on some level somewhere to have me here, that's it. I'm lovable, I'm worthy, I'm here, I belong because I exist, period. But when you start to have other thoughts, like, oh, there's the separation, right? The belief in separation. Oh, I don't have something. This is the belief in lack. There's something else other than how I was created that's going to bring me happiness. And now here it is. It's the thought that counts, literally, that brings you out. Now the reality is that never happened. We're here. But you're so sovereign that you can believe and live out whatever according to your beliefs everywhere. And so therefore you have a core misperception that you can be separate from the Creator. And so there you are, 21 minutes, 21 seconds. I think, therefore I am. All right. Notice I'm not talking anything about body, physical manifestation, nothing. This has nothing to do with that, right? It's your belief in something so core and so primal. You can think of it as your origin story, but not your origin story, because that's not the reality. You always were. But from here, your personality, where you're so individuated, you're in your own home, you're in your own body, you're this and that, you have your own experiences, all of that. Your origin story goes all the way up to here, where you have this belief. Now, anytime we have a belief in the ability to be separate, the fact that you're even thinking about it means that you have a belief it's possible, and now it's probable, and here you are. Sorry. Look at my alarm going off. All right. And now here you are. All right. So think about it this way. You're already in the hole now, in the sense that you are buying into a belief that is not real. God, Creator, whatever you want to say, as I was saying that 22 minutes, 22 seconds, is not going to join you. He, it, she, they, whatever, is not out here joining you in that belief. It's not reality. It's unreality. You cannot separate. Where did you go? If the Creator and the kingdom is all that is, where did you head out to? Where is it, right? So you see that core misbelief that you can separate and that you have separated. Now we need to only saunter into any licensed therapist office to see the legacy of abandonment issues, right? We need to only talk to a friend to hear about how their friend canceled on them at the last minute, and now they're feeling a certain type of way because their friend doesn't appreciate them. What do you think we're doing when we have such a deep existential wound going on here? Misbelief, mistaken belief, mistaken reasoning. That's it. You never separate it. But let's say that you are holding this belief. Here we are. That is going to create a leveling down in the frequencies. Because the frequency is up here, but then you level down in frequency to have this false belief. And it's all about lack. I lack something. I can go somewhere else and make myself happy. And boom, because you hold that false belief, guess what comes in tow? Feelings like you did like a bad thing. Oh my God, I left my father's house. Look, I don't know if you want to do the whole prodigal son story, do you? I don't know to what extent that would apply here, but I left my father's house and I'm out here. No. And if you have, for example, I have immigrant parents, I don't know, like a lot of you guys have it, but if you have parents who are immigrants or just parents in general, there comes a time where you individuate, and what happens? The guilt happens. Like, oh no, if I make my own money, but what about, or if I'm spending time over here with my friends, but what about, you see that already with just human relationships. So I want you to understand the depth of this wounding here. This core belief leads to a feeling of existential guilt. I've left the kingdom And then guess what humans do? We put a story to it. Oh, I am not allowed back. I've done a bad thing. People are upset at me. I'm so ashamed. I'm a guilty person. God doesn't want me. I'm a failure. So and so stayed and I didn't. You know, see how this goes? And even more, guilty is like, oh, I want to see where this leads. That's building guilt as well. But no matter what story, programming, ideology, just thought upon thought upon thought upon thought, coupled with emotion that you put into that, it's never going to make it reality. You never went anywhere. You are in the kingdom. There is nowhere to go, right? So you believe in separation. You've picked up some beliefs. You put a story to it. You're guilting yourself. What happens when we guilt ourselves, whether we are aware of it at the conscious level or it's hanging out in the subconscious? Guess what happens? We start to feel like we should be condemned, because when you're bad, you get punished. So when you are condemned, you self-punish. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, you make choices that are not in your highest interest. Why? Because you don't deserve it, because you're not worthy of it. Why? Because you've done something. But I'm a great person this lifetime. Well, I'm looking right here in your last 8 lifetimes and it's the same as this lifetime. Yeah, you're doing good deeds, or you're not doing good deeds, whatever good, bad is, whatever it is, right? But it doesn't matter what you do. It's the belief that you hold around it. You believe that you are not worthy because you've done something that is so bad. And that thing that you've done so bad, say it with me, is that you separated from your creator. But remember, you never separated. There was never anywhere to go. So we're just having fantasy talk right now. You know, this is all fantasy, and that's what I mean. God is not going to join you in your fantasies. They're not real. They do not exist as far as God is concerned. There's source, creator. I'm just using God. We're just using language. So if you're having a struggle with the language, understand that that's your programming, because you want to go straight to religious programming. You want to go straight to associations that you've made in your different lifetimes. So get rid of that. You can use it. It's a filler word, right? So you have the thought that it's possible and probable and that you did it. You falsely believe that you've separated. You've attached a story that you're a bad person and now you feel guilty. And because you have done something bad, you must be condemned. And hey, who's going to do it? Not God. So you're going to do it. You're self-punishing. That's what this is, right? And so you wander through the lifetimes, having these lifetimes, doing these things, but you're being a harsh critic on yourself. And when you have these thoughts, they build and build and build and build and build and build. You have lifetime after lifetime where you're having experiences, because guess what? You have to remember, you're a sovereign being. That's how you are made. You are made in the image of love. Love created you love. Gratitude created you grateful. Beauty created you beautiful, right? Invincibility created you invincible. That's what you are. If you want to call yourself a god / a creator being, go ahead. You can call yourself a god. You're not going to be confused with your creator, right? That's programming in your mind. Oh, I can't say I'm a god. I'm not saying. That's your programming. The word God means nothing. These cards mean nothing. We're just reading the energy off of it, right? And that's why we don't need to pull any cards at all. Although it's fun. But anyway, you see, so here you are, because you are God, you are a part of your creator, you cannot be anything other than what you are. You are a part of the whole, you never left. So if the creator is that, you're God. We live in a fractal existence. So what do you think you're doing all the way down these frequencies when you drop down in density, and now here you are at the 3D, you are still the same thing. You didn't change. You are as God created you, period. The only problem is that you have thought yourself into such a funk, and I say you, me, we're all out here, hey everybody, right? You've thought yourself into so much duality. There's the duality. The false belief that you separated. That's the duality, and it's way up in the field. So we're like taking a braid and we're unbraiding it so that we can get back to reality. So the minute you did this, now you're in a false reality. This is what it means. You're dreaming. And I think that people use the whole story of Adam and Eve and blah, 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 and he bit the apple and then he fell asleep. Hey, he's just under the tree. What's going on? We don't even need these stories. We don't need it. We just need to look at the evidence here, right? So you had that false belief, and ever since then you've been dreaming falsity. And because you're a sovereign being, because you're pure consciousness, not a body, you are a spirit, you're pure consciousness, and you have carte blanche, you can dream up anything you want, limited only by your belief in what is possible, and then further what is probable. But because you have this false belief, and here's the problem, that you're so bad, you did something so bad, you're not allowing yourself to have this freedom to be unlimited, all right? And so because of that, you literally dream up limitations for yourself. We see it every day. Oh, you should go get that job. I don't know, guys, I don't know if I'm good for it. All right, done. Dream dead, right? You see what I mean? It's that simple. Hey, come on, let's go out for pizza. I don't know, guys, I have $5 left, and a slice is about $7. You guys go ahead. What are you talking about? Already you've limited yourself because you mistakenly believe, there's the split again, that to get the pizza you need money. It's BS. That's earth programming. You see how deep this goes? Your value has nothing to do with your money. What you see in the mirror physically has nothing to do with your value. The mirror just shows you if you have lettuce in your teeth. That's it. You don't look in the mirror and get an idea about who you are, whether you belong to the right race, whether you're the proper gender, whether you're looking cute today, whether anyone's going to listen to you in that boardroom. What are we talking about? That's insanity, according to this awareness. This is what I'm saying. So when you have that false belief, it's separation, that it's possible and that it's probable and that it did occur. Now you're just living as a sovereign being because you think, therefore you experience. You will make your physical reality in alignment with that. You will experience your physical alignment, reality in alignment with that, and you will interpret what you see happening with your poor lens, right? The lens, in alignment with those false beliefs. You cannot have millions of falseness and get to reality. False upon false upon false upon false can never get to true. It doesn't matter. It's just an alternate route. But when we heal the perceptions, healing, this is all that is. When we heal the mind, guess what starts to unravel? All those beliefs. All of the beliefs in any of these earthly laws, any of the things that you come to believe over lifetimes. This is what it means to awaken. And you, as the Lightworker, Starseed, all that stuff, you are continuing your path along evolution as well. You must get this so that you can have the right vision. This is your vision we're talking about. It's all about mind. Deprogram your mind so that you can join people at their level of belief, but maintain where you're helping them to go. Okay? We have people out here still blaming others. You understand what that is. They're having problems with their ex and their mothers and their fathers and their brothers and sisters. You're up here, you know they're having problems with their own internal self. That's it. But you're not going to overwhelm them with that because they may not understand. You talk to them, though, about, well, what's going on? You help them make connections. And that's where they are. You meet them at that level. You meet somebody else who has a little bit more awareness about that. You meet them at that level. And then you will meet people who are at the level as you. And then you'll meet people who are above you. And in this awareness, what is above and below? It has nothing to do with value. Everybody is valued the same. Every creation, every aspect of creation. You're no more better or worse than that cute little speck of dust. Okay? But you will believe that it is worse than you or better than you, depending on your self-worth. Why? Because you have that core misbelief that you were able to separate from the Creator, that it was probable that you did it, and that you have done it. And because of that, you have incurred a feeling of guilt, like you've done something bad. And then since then, you've been condemning and self-punishing. And because you're a sovereign being, you will experience, and you will, they want to add another word, internalize. Yep, internalize. And I was going to say interpret your physical reality according to what you believe. Why? You think, because, and therefore you are. You're a sovereign being as God made you. You didn't change. So you're a sleeping giant, and that's what the wake up process is. Wake up so that you stop the tailspin here. Especially if you're here to assist others, you wake up, you do your shadow work, you get into alignment, practice self-love, self-love, self-love. Self-love is literally the opposite of that core mistake. You remind yourself anytime you start feeling in like a martyr, in your poverty consciousness, your victim consciousness, you want to blame somebody, you see something outside, you're upset, any form of upset goes back to this. You cannot be upset if you remember who you are. And if you remember where you came from, and if you remember you never left, and if you remember it's impossible to leave. That possibility there, you got to get out of that. That's why we realize, and of course in Miracles teaches us, that we have only one function here. Number one, we are as God created. We never change. It's impossible to change. We're timeless. It's just how it is. And you can think about that as your higher self. God bless you. Whatever you want, right? Now we're getting discursive, but it doesn't matter. But you have only one function, and that function is to be happy. That function is to forgive. But going back to that, forgiveness is not a concept God has. So you understand that there's reality, and then there's, here where we have the Holy Spirit, not religious. Do not go into religious pathways here. We're talking energy. We have the Holy Spirit go between, right? We have Jesus, not religious. We're not talking about religion here. And some of you who are coming from an esoteric and occultist kind of idea, you have ideas about him. Some of you coming from the ETs, you have ideas about him. Don't go into discourse, just sit with the information that's coming through. There's reality where there's an impossibility to ever be bad, to ever do anything. If you are up there with God's mind and you're seeing eye to eye with God, hey, we're hanging out, you cannot hold the idea of forgiveness as a reality, because it is impossible to do anything wrong. And if you cannot do anything wrong, then there is no condemnation. How can you condemn something if something cannot be wrong? And then how could you have guilt if it's impossible to do anything wrong? And then what would we need forgiveness for if it's impossible to do anything wrong? Do you see how deep these ideas go down the rabbit hole? It's not. Once you have that false belief, now these concepts like forgiveness come in and salvation. But up here, God's hanging out. The Creator's hanging out, doing what it does as a waterfall, as a tree, as a spirit, as a whatever. And if we could put words to that, God's probably be like, what you talking about, salvation? What are you talking about? What am I saving you from? You never went anywhere. You're still in my kingdom. As far as I was concerned, my kingdom is on lock. So what? And on top of that, there's nothing to lock against. So that's how deep we are here in this mindset. So if you really want to roll high, you have to remember it never happened. And there's certain things that do not exist then, like time. It doesn't exist. Patience, what is that? It's a virtue, is it? It's working. These are concepts, patience, forgiveness, all of that are working, and they're helpful as tools in the dream. But they're not the full reality yet, because in the reality, there's only here and there's only now. So there's no patience. If God has the thought, boom, you as a sovereign being, you have the thought, boom, it's now. It materializes. That's it. Because that's all there is. There's no timing, whatever. All of that is down here. And so if you can appreciate that nuance here, these tiers, T-I-E-R-S, then you can also understand why, from our teachers' perspectives, way in higher energetic frequencies, they see us with love and compassion as dreamers who are caught in our own nightmares. Of course, in Miracles refers to it as insanity. Imagine walking in an asylum, God bless, right? And we've seen this in the movies too. You look through, of course you're walking down a hall with some doctors, right? And you look in each doorway in the little slit there, and you see somebody just in their straitjacket talking to themselves, having full-blown conversations, everything. They're in a world of their own making. Somewhere along the line for them, there was a split somewhere in their wholeness, in their consciousness, in their mind. And so now they're off somewhere believing something completely. This is where we are. So when we have people coming in, our service workers, our light workers, our starseeds, all of these, whatever you want to say, they're functioning in the dream as well, right? But their awareness, and I just mean their recognition, is different. It's higher than a lot of those who they come to serve with a capital S. 40 minutes, 44 seconds, 4004. Same value. No one is better or worse than the other. We're just serving different functions. If you're out here flailing, we need a lifeguard. But don't for 1 second think that that lifeguard is better than the person flailing in the ocean. Society on shore may be like, oh, well, the lifeguard is this, they're that, they've got qualifications, they're smart, they're whatever. That's BS. It means nothing. It just means they have a function that they're able to provide for you in this moment. That's it. It's clear. Right? So anyway, there were a lot of thoughts there that I wanted to put out there. But the month of February is clarity. Clarity. Get the programming right. Get the programming right. Okay? And the programming will always go back to one thing. You never separate it. It's not possible. It's not probable, and you just never did it. And so if you really want to question yourself, ask yourself, where did you go? Where in the universe does not belong to creation? Where in all of the universes does not belong to creation? It's not to get you all discombobulated. It's in fact supposed to give you a firm foundation. And that foundation is one where you realize that you are just one aspect of creation. And creation was made out of love. Period. And whether or not you want to believe that, you don't need to have an origin story firmly rooted in your mindset in order to be about something. You still make choices. But you have to understand that these choices are not just motivated by your conscious mind, like, oh, I think I'll go here. I think I'll donate a shilling to that homeless guy. No, it's rooted deeper. And it's all connected to you and your core beliefs about your worthiness. No matter what you experience here in this physical reality, whether you're watching this video on Monday or Tuesday, actually I don't remember what today is, but what is today? Friday, Saturday? Anyway, whenever you're watching this video, it's your core beliefs that will manifest all the way down your energy field and manifest and determine, for example, if you even watch this video, if it means anything to you, if you're falling asleep through it, if you're tuning things out. When I'm with clients sometimes, God bless, I'm giving super hugs to them, but when I'm with them sometimes, I can see very clearly when I'm telling them something, I'm giving them energy. It's a transmission of energy. That's all it is. We're just frequency, but I'm using language. And I can see that when I'm telling them things sometimes, I can register what they are choosing. It's always about choice because you're agents. You have full agency on some level of your field because you're a sovereign being. It will always cycle into agency at some level of your field, whether you see that now or not, right? But I'll see whether they're choosing to listen at that time. Sometimes they're choosing not to, right? They don't even realize that they're not doing it, but the energy will go and it'll come right back, and I see that. Or they'll like get up all of a sudden, I think I'm gonna go get some water, when in the middle of, like interrupting every time I'm about to tell them. I don't even have to get the words out, just to go, my intention to switch topics to talk about that one thing. They're like, oh, hold on 1 second. Or even more, someone will call them in the middle of that, and no matter what it is, whatever the manifestation is, it's their world. So whether it's somebody calling them, whether it's them wanting to get a glass of water, whether it's them falling asleep, that never happened, but on the phone, who does that, right? But right, or whatever it is, they on some level are resisting the information coming in, and that's the point we have to look at. Where's the resistance? Okay? Because what they think is going to be made manifest in their physical. Doesn't matter what the form is. Person, place, thing, situation, idea. Doesn't matter what the form is. It's what's happening. So, wow, that's a lot of information, but I promise you it makes sense on some level. And we need to make it make sense. You know, as we say, Jesus, make it make sense. Somebody out here, right? It's going to make sense on some level. But the point is, why are we having this conversation here? Because it's just energetic exchange, but we're having this conversation right now, 44 minutes and 44 seconds, with the conscious mind. If you're still with me, hi, thank you. We're having this conversation with you at the conscious mind because there are going to be things that you're going to be called to do as part of this quote unquote work that you're doing. I said quote unquote because we're working multidimensionally right now. That's why we can be up here and talk about these concepts and then drop down here into the 3D and talk about the he said, she said, and the feelings and the emotions and everything in between, right? But I put work because remember, up here, God's like, what work? What Starseeds? What flipping? What planet? What are you talking about? Everyone's perfect. What are we, right? He's not part of this conversation, right? We're here. So along these frequencies here in the different dimensions, we're having these conversations. And it would really be wonderful if you could join us in the mental level of the field. That came out very channeled for somebody. I don't know, for all of us, yeah. But so that you can have these conversations. Because if you can have these conversations with your mind, then there's a certain level of awareness at this level, right? Thank you. We've awakened in the 3D, in the dream. And when you awaken in the dream, it doesn't make you better or worse than anybody else. So if you're into the special significant stuff, that's a pitfall of service workers. I'm just going to call you service workers because whatever, there's so many terms, right? It's a pitfall. What is it? Spiritual significance. One is better than the other. It's not the case. We're all one, and that's the core. That's the crux of it. We're all one. We can never there's another word, satisfy. We can never satisfy. What's going on? We're never satisfied. We're just bored on some level up there, and we're just doing this, right? But 46 minutes, 46 seconds. I'm just throwing it out there. But we can never separate, and that's it. We can make universes upon universes and have fun with each other and play around and do different roles and do lifetimes and this and that. But you can't be out here forgetting the reality. The reality is here. And I questioned the other day, I was like, well, if we're out here having these experiences and kind of having a, whatever the soul wants to do or whatever, and at some level, these are, you may say discursive, maybe left to discourse, and then really, really be dependent upon the clarity of the person who channeled the information or did the research or whatever. So just to see how shaky these things can be. But if we're all doing that and we're all perfect, and why are we doing this? And then on top of that, I asked, I haven't got an answer, but why are we getting this information here that to the Lightworkers, Starseed service workers, that remember the reality even as you navigate within the unreality? Remember the reality. Keep it in mind, even though you navigate the unreality. So many people say, well, it's a large-scale rescue mission, Jonelle, right? Yeah, but from a certain level of the field, it's a rescue mission. From way at the top, it's not. Who are we rescuing and where are we rescuing them from? You see what I mean? We are, as we created, we cannot be harmed. We cannot this and that. We're spirit. We're just moving in and out. That's it. And so maybe it would be nice for you, like maybe then we have to think, well, where's the limitation here? And then we start asking questions like, oh, well, maybe Earth is a school. Some people say maybe it's a trap and they're trapping you here. And this is all fear-based discourse. No one knows, doing our best. But at the end of the day, no matter what your ideology is, if you can consider how you treat yourself, and of course how you treat others, you're going in the right direction. Now we understand that could be a little shaky as well, because we know things like, oh, compassion is a virtue. But people, if they're not clear, they're not having these core foundations like we're talking about. A Course in Miracles is really great. It's a book for deprogramming, right? It's deprogramming. If you don't have the correct foundations and you're still out here with that existential guilt, you may be operating in the name of compassion, but you're really bending over backwards where you shouldn't. Or you may be operating in the realm of compassion, and your idea of compassion is, well, I'm just preparing you for the harsh world out here, so I'm showing you compassion in that way. And both would be okay. Because in the grand scheme of things, nothing is right or wrong or up and down or whatever. The question is, are you perceiving of yourself as suffering? Many people will say yes. As Buddha knew what was up. He understood suffering. And what did he do? He understood how to get rid of suffering. Non-attachment. Deprogramming. Letting go. Hey, shadow work. Whatever it is. Ideological flexibility. Whatever you want to call it. And what did he do according to the canon? He escaped the world. Right? What world? Well, maybe the world of his own making. You can still be in the body, but be operating at a higher mindset while you're down here. Or you can just be out here. You could be floating on your back in the water while you're out here doing your best. Or you can be out here flailing and being tossed to and fro by what? By the manifestations of what? The things that you made, the things that you experienced, the things that you interpret based on what? Your beliefs. And the beliefs have a core belief of what? Inadequacy, lack. It wasn't enough where I was. I needed to go somewhere. And the mistake, whether you want to call it original sin or whatever, according to A Course in Miracles, sin, there's no religion involved in that. That's programming, human-based programming. The word sin refers to a mistake in reasoning, and that's it. The mistake is you believe that you could separate from something. It is impossible to separate. And in fact, the only thing that separates one person from another down here, of course, we could say the physical body, God bless, but the only thing that separates us is the ideas that we have made, not created. Creation is for the creator, 51 minutes, 51 seconds, or for you when you are in proper alignment with the creator, right? Then you're extending the energy. But when you're out here with other ideas, you're making stuff up now. We all are. But anyway, that was my alarm. It's a duck. Anyway, yeah, I forgot where I was going. But anyway, the point is, it's time to clean up your programming. Okay? It's time to clean up your programming so that you can get in the right frame of mind. Now, what happens when we get in the right frame of mind? Because notice, we're not talking about the body. What's the body? From an energy healing standpoint, the body is just a vehicle that is designed to be an extension. Notice the extension when you are in alignment with reality. It's an extension, and it's designed to function for what? The mind. The healed mind. The healed mind remembers it's holy, whole, intact, one, not fragmented. There's no need for soul retrievals and this and that, because the mind is whole. When the mind is healed and it's in its state, its original state, which we can refer to as the Christed state, has nothing to do with religion, okay? But when you're in that state of being, that's where you really are. That's who you are. You're perfect because the Creator created you perfect. That's it. But when you start to have these ideas of separation being possible and probable, and that you did it, now you're guilty for it, and you're condemning yourself and you're self-punishing, and now you're inhabiting a world that is so low in density that as a projector, as a sovereign being, the thoughts that you're having are coming alive here in this physical reality. It's coming alive in the form of form, people, places, things, situations, ideas, emotions. All of these things funnel through and cycle down from your beliefs, period. And what happens is, along the way, because here's the physical reality, but along the way, the energy is getting denser and denser and denser and denser and denser till boom, it's so dense that it is like rock, right? But all you're seeing here in all these rocks are the structures that you're thinking. In the physical reality, hear me out, in the physical reality, your thoughts are things. Your ex-boyfriend is the form. It's a manifestation of a thought that you have about yourself on a higher level. The job that you just came home from is a manifestation of the thought that you have on another level. When you turn on the TV, of all the channels that you're aware of, all thoughts that are being reflected in your reality. Some of them you don't even watch. ESPN, what's that? But I'm aware of it because it's reflecting something in my energy field. But which one just happens to be on? You turn on the TV. Are you looking right at it? Did you turn it on, but you looked left to pick up a paper there and you didn't even look at the TV there? All of these things, your movements, your navigation, all of this are manifestations of your thoughts. And that's why, and it's only manifested in the physical because we're in a physical domain here. You hit that fourth dimension, your thoughts are not physical anymore. They're non-physical. However, in these other dimensions, we can view them and perceive of them, not using your physical eyes, because the physical eyes, your physical ears, all of that is for the physical world. But when you get into everywhere else, all the other places, your body is useless. Absolutely useless. It is a carbon copy anyway of your energy anatomy. We just go up a level and we're seeing your entire body splayed out here. Where it's been, where it is now, its potentials that it could go to, right? That's the level that we're of what's going on that people aren't seeing. So, when you are having all this, all these dimensions, when you have a core misperception that you can be separate from God, that you are. It's possible, it's probable even, and that you did do it, again, you made it on some level mean that you were bad, and that's where the guilt, that's the existential guilt, that's where it comes from. And of course, if you're guilty, it means you're bad, you have to be punished and condemned. All of that cycles down through your energetic field, all the way down through dimensions, till we are here in the physical world with what? Cancers, brain aneurysms, accidents, you just had an argument, you walk right outside, you fall in a ditch, all these things. You're even having things pop up in your physical world at age 6 that you had no idea about. But if you head into your past lifetimes, if you head into where you've been off planet, you see the dots connecting. At the end of the day, when we talk about clearing and healing, we're talking about healing the perception. And we have so many blessed modalities. We have our beloved physical doctors who work at the physical level. Do not tell me your physical surgeon is out here working at the, let's say, the 7th level of the field where you have that tear in your auric field that is manifesting all the way down here, and now you need a surgery here. Don't tell me just because you cleared that up in the physical that this is not there anymore. When we have these obstructions, or first of all, when we have these core thoughts that are not loving, they're false thoughts, they're not real, because you're invincible, but you believed, again, that you separated, and so now you feel that you can be destroyed, that not only can you be destroyed, but that you deserve to be destroyed because you've done something bad, and you're going to use the world in which you are in the physical to punish yourself over and over and over and over again, in lifetime after lifetime. And that's why we say in A Course in Miracles, I'm channeling. That's why we say in A Course in Miracles, you're living in hell because you're creating it. There is no hell. You are making it. Excuse me, I said creating. Creating is for the creator, and for you as a creator being made in the image and likeness of your creator when you are working with reality. You cannot make something out of nothing. If all of this stuff is false and you never separated, everything else that you've made is false. And when we bring the light in, the light of illumination, of love, of clear thinking, A Course in Miracles, what does it reveal? It reveals nothing was there to begin with. How can you get out of God or creation or all that is, or the universes or everything, whatever, if there's nowhere else to go? You must have fallen asleep and made a mistake in reasoning, because where did you go? So you see, that's like modern day miracles. Miracles are just a change in perception. You think you're seeing this little guy, ding, he just winked. But when you get your mind clear, he's not there anymore. He was never there. And that's why that cute little kid at the Oracle's house in the first Matrix told Neo, listen, homie, there is no spoon. That's why he's able to bend it. What spoon? He made that spoon up. And if he made that spoon up, then he can do with it what he wants. There's the agency. Of course, we wish that in that moment, in the scene, he'd explained himself. What are you talking about? I'm seeing a spoon. Yeah, you're seeing a spoon because you are seeing something that's not there. And that's why Neo is able to dodge bullets. What bullets? He could have done this and they would have disappeared. But he chose to do this. And then they came to a stop and fell. It's better for cinematic effect, right? But this is the level of power that you are. If you understood how powerful you are, limited only, and I mean only, at 1 hour, 1 minute, and 1 second of this video, without the ending credits and beginning credits, it is only your limitation by your belief in what is possible, further impacted by your belief in what is probable, right? And then you're packing on that guilt, that existential guilt. So when we talk Lightworker, Starseeds, all of you, whoever watches this video, when we talk about reality, we talk about getting rid of the idea that you have done something bad. It is impossible to do something bad. I don't care what lifetimes, and I've seen a lot of lifetimes, people killing their whole family, all sorts of stuff coming across my desk. And yes, we have to work with the person whose mind is still believing the different past life aspects that come in with the client. We're working with them to integrate. This is called soul integration. We're pulling fragments out from time and space across, creation because of these false beliefs. That's what healing is. We could do somatic work in the body as well. All of that is helping in different modalities to do what? Support the person in healing. But healing goes all the way down to one thing and one thing alone. Change your perception. What separation? That's it. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Oh, first of all, thanks, guys. Can I close this? Thank you so much, everybody. For those of you who find this work interesting, how can it not be interesting? It's fun. It's interesting. And you enjoy chipping away at yourself, getting to know yourself, recollecting yourself, reconnecting with yourself, accepting yourself, loving yourself, remembering that God made you, your creator made you perfect. And if you enjoy the journey, well, I invite you to try all of the wonderful modalities that have been gifted to humanity, whether it's physical healing. Of course, we know that we're just healing the body, but you got to go a little deeper to really get some root work done, get your somatic work done. We've got lovely Akashic readers, we've got soul chart readers, we've got soul contract readers, we've got Reiki people, we've got people doing divine healing out here in connection with the soul contract. We've got people with Bach flower remedies. We've got so many things. Acupuncture, acupressure, everything. There's so much. We've got the Rife machine. There is no excuse at this level of humanity to be suffering anymore. Past life readings, whatever you need. Either way, it's your dream. You're here. It's your reality, whatever you want to call it. But if you're coming here to work, which we all are, I just feel like the message that's coming through here is, there's a funny, get your head on straight. Open that eye. So in this month, February 2024, there's going to be a large scale, they're saying, emphasis on getting your mind straight. Now, I'm going to join you right now here in the level of where all of us service workers are to do the work. I'm going to give you a little bit of mission information. Right now, there's a large-scale effort to turn people around. Where? In the right direction. Because we're just coming out of a lot of being tossed around, a lot of people doing their internal healing. A lot of you are already doing active mission work in the non-physical. Some of you are aware of that, some of you are not, and that's fine, but you're doing it. You're waking up tired, you're doing it. And you're also doing what you can here in the physical. Some of you can even see the 3D jobs that you have are having profound impacts on people. But the thing is that you may be getting tossed and torn, well, I don't know what the words are, tossed about as well. So we're jettisoning a lot of stuff. We're doing a lot of clearing, and there's a lot of energetic frequencies that are coming onto the planet. Sometimes we need to adjust ourselves, like come in, get your alignment, your spinal alignment. Weren't the guides just talking about that? Get yourself rooted and allow yourself to get into the right formation, position and formation. Both those words are coming through to receive. I'm seeing crown work coming in. But if you're off kilter and you're facing the wrong direction, these energetic frequencies trying to come in through your mind, your crown and everything, assuming you don't have blockages there, sending it right back out, right? But these things that are coming in can knock you off kilter. So you want to get rooted. And of course, we do all that assistance here on my channel, on my Etsy page. We're here to assist you with all mission details. And of course, if you just want to talk about like things that are going on in your life with your relationships and all of that, your work, all of that is part of it. When you heal those areas, you're healing yourself no matter what, because it's all you anyway. All right, is there anything else, guides? That was a lot of talking. Okay, exactly. It was actually quiet. I'm like, okay. I guess that's it. I don't know what I'll title this. But God bless you guys, and thank you so much for your service. And we're all doing a great job. You can't do a bad job. It's impossible, right? See that multi-dimensional jump there? You didn't do anything wrong. If you'd like to work personally with me, you know exactly where to find me. Until then, God bless you. Bye.